Yes, now I can go live. I see us. Yay. And then I've got to turn this off. Okay. Hello there.
Hello, good
Hello,
morning.
hello, everyone. All right. Hang on one second. I want to make sure we can hear ourselves on here. Sometimes.
Happy Saturday.
Yes. Happy Saturday. Good morning. Can
Do you want
everybody hear
me
us?
do you want me to
Yeah.
look on YouTube?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I can
All
look
right.
for
Let
you.
me, I'm just I'm not sure why I'm not hearing it on here.
It's funny. Sometimes you see the it
Yeah, the
moving like
button
the
comes up.
volume.
Yeah. Just want to make sure that we are live.
Let's see. Coming to your channel.
Okay. This is Zoom. I think we are live.
Sometimes you see the Oh, I hear us.
Okay, all right. I just hear us too.
Awesome.
Okay,
Good.
good. Awesome. Okay, so we are live. That's good.
Always test. I did go
Yes,
live one
yes.
time for 8 minutes with no volume,
I've done the same. I've
and
done
I
it
had
where
no idea.
yes, I've done the same, and that's why I'm like, we have to check to make sure that we are. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I see you now, and I see us. Okay, well, that's awesome. Amanda Panda Teacher, thank you for joining us here on
Good
Teach and Reach
morning.
YouTube channel, bright and early where you're at. It is 9 a.m. here Eastern Standard Time, but it is what time over there, Amanda?
It is 6:02 in Pacific Coast time.
Yes, and so thank you. I really appreciate you being on this channel. But I am so excited to have you here. Would love to hear all the different things that you're doing this coming week and this coming year 2021. Lots of wonderful stuff's happening, right? So Amanda, just to start us off, did you teach this morning?
I did not teach this morning. I had no classes. I'm actually on a holiday break. I took a 2-week vacation from my online teaching classes. I messaged parents and let them know in advance that I wouldn't be teaching. I've done a vacation before. I went to Hawaii a couple of years ago, and so I took
Right.
a whole block of 3 weeks. Actually, I was gone.
Wow.
But this
Nice.
time I only took 2 just for the holidays. So the week of Christmas and then next week, the week of New Year's, I have no online teaching classrooms with my ESL students.
Very nice.
My parent of my
Awesome.
regular, she told me that
Do
she
they
will
miss
book
you?
classes in group classes, but she won't book any other teachers.
Well, that's good. So like, your fallback is that, well, you can take off and your kids will still come back to you. So that's
They're
good.
coming back. They're
Yes.
waiting for me.
Oh, that's awesome. That is brilliant. All right. So how long have you been teaching with VIP Kid?
I have been a VIPKID teacher for 3 years.
Okay.
So November was my 3-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So, is that contract number 7. Um,
Wow.
so I lots of time. I didn't think that I would be teaching online this long.
Okay.
I was a brick and mortar teacher
Yeah.
before, so I taught in elementary school. And when I was between jobs, my husband lost his job.
Right.
And when he did, I needed to find something to supplement severance pay and unemployment. And I got hired with VIPKID within a week, and I started 3 years ago.
Wow, that's awesome, right? I mean, like you just never know where VIP Kid is going to take you with all the different things that are happening in the world. Like I feel like we're really lucky to still have a job. Like even though it's part time for me, right, with VIP Kid, like with the stuff that's happening in the pandemic and people losing their jobs left, right, center, like we still have a stream of income coming in. I mean, I know I do. Like and I'm sure you do too. You have a lot of regulars, right? How many
I do.
classes have you taught in the last 3 years?
I've reached over 4,000 classes.
Wow.
So for Pacific time, that actually is really surprising because
Yeah.
my prime teaching time right now is 3 to 5
Oh,
a.m.
I don't know how you
That's
do it.
our, oh, it's awful. So that's my one huge downside about teaching ESL online. For me
Right,
in my
right,
time zone,
right.
the time that I teach is just the worst. It's brutal. So I actually squish my classes in the winter and I only wake up for 2 early mornings on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Oh,
My year teaching, I actually tried a bunch of early mornings to try and get new students.
Right.
And I was so zonked out from lack of sleep that I
Right.
went grocery shopping, and I was in the grocery store and I grabbed a cart to walk away like down the aisle, and it wasn't my cart. It was someone else's cart. And Loretta, I did that twice in one visit to the grocery store. It was the
Oh
worst
no.
ever. So, like, sleep deprivation
Yeah.
racks your mind. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so, teaching the
Yeah.
number of classes that I do, I really have to find a balance. So, through the winter, I do 5 in the morning, Tuesdays and Fridays.
Okay.
And I would be a full-time VIP kid teacher if I was in a different time zone.
Right.
I
Right.
love teaching so much. I
Right.
have enough regulars that want to fill my slots, but I just can't in the time
Right.
zone I live. I'm a mom and a
Right.
wife and a small business owner, and so
Right.
I've got other stuff I have to do. I
Right.
just can't give up my night times 7 days a week,
Right.
like, to get to bed early enough. I'd have to go to bed, like, at 7 o'clock at night. My kids are awake till 9, but I don't know what
Right.
they'd be doing, and then wake up early in the morning.
Yeah.
It's a very dysfunctional time zone in
Right.
Pacific time.
Yeah, you gotta
So
find a balance that will work with
yes,
everything that you've mentioned, right? Family comes first, right? Family and your health. Well, your health comes first because without the health, everything else is gonna fall apart. So making sure you take care of that health and making sure you have enough sleep so that
definitely.
you don't start taking another person's cart in the grocery store.
It was terrible. So, like, really, really sleep deprivation does really affect your mind.
Yes,
So
it
I got
does.
mom brain as it is because I have little kids. So I'm always on mom brain zone. But then add sleep deprivation brain. Oh my gosh, forget it. What's my name? Where do I live? Can't tell you.
All right. So, were you used to online teaching before you joined VIP Kid? Because I know you were a
No.
brick and mortar teacher. I know that you are also a Google Classroom trainer. Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
so I was familiar with technology when I
Right.
taught in brick and mortar school. My last 2 years, I was a technology teacher on
Okay.
special assignment. So I rolled out to teachers in my school district Chromebooks, 7,000
Ah,
Chromebooks. So we were one of the first districts in our state to start like one-to-one teaching with technology. So
right.
I help support teachers.
Okay.
So I was techie, but I had never taught online.
Right.
So like there was a big learning curve for me when I first started. Like I didn't know how to make a background, how to
Right.
have lights, like what equipment to use, like all of that was
Yeah.
totally new. And so I figured out as I went. I tried everything. I moved my classroom. I've been a standing teacher, I've been a corner teacher, I've been a wall teacher, like just with the wall
Just
background.
wall background,
Now
not a corner.
now I'm a virtual teacher at my
Yes.
desk.
Yes.
I've used 2 screens. I've used 1 screen. I've used PC. I use a i5 computer with a slow processor. I'm on an i7
Oh.
now. So, like, I've done it all. So I
Yeah.
had 2 different headphones, like different lights. So as you go, you practice and try and
Right.
get much better.
Right. So you kind of answered the next question that I wanted to ask. What is your VIP classroom like when you first started? So just kind of briefly, when you first started 3 years ago, what was it like? What was your classroom like? Like your classroom environment, classroom itself. What did it look like?
Yes.
What did the setup look like?
So I was at the desk, like in my office, and I had a background, the wall behind me that was
Okay.
all the way across the room. And so I put like a black banner across the top that I
Yes.
had printed scrapbook paper. I
Yes.
printed my name, Teacher Amanda XYJ, and then I said welcome and made a little poster. And then I put a little shelf at the bottom with stuffed animals, and that was
Right.
like my background. But the challenge was where I chose to begin teaching was in the corner of my room with that background so far away, and it was very dark. So I
Okay.
finally have overcome that because I'm in that same position again. I
Right.
actually became a standing teacher, but when I first started, I would say my classroom was full with props. I
Right.
used a lot. I thought that I needed to grab a prop for every single thing. So I was in collecting mode when I first started. I had a
Right.
shopping list like that I carried with me with all the items. I need a zebra, I need a donkey, I need a monkey, I needed everything. And
Right.
so
Right.
I
Right.
had quite a collection. And
Right.
so it was a building and growing phase when I first started to
Right.
try out my style and figure out what I used.
Right.
And definitely a lighting problem when I first started. Gosh, I have some pictures. I actually took a lot of pictures. My first classroom, I took a lamp, like the lampshade off, and
Right.
put it on the ground with the light bulb, like trying to light the background. Like, I don't know what I was doing, but it was definitely designed in a way that a new person starting was designing.
Right.
And so
Right.
the problem now for online teachers is when you design your classroom, you've got to be like professional, like 360, like the first day you start, because parents are booking for you, they're looking for
Expecting.
good
Yeah.
lighting. Yeah,
Right.
they
Right.
want
They're
a
expecting that.
professional look.
Oh,
Hint, hint,
yes.
hint. So, like
Yes.
when they come to your online classroom, they're not looking for the scruffy, big, messy room and
Yeah.
bad lighting that I had when I first started. So I'm
Right.
thankful my students gave me grace my
Yes.
first month or two before I kind of figured out a little bit better how to do everything. I was teaching on Wi-Fi too in
Ah,
my office, far from the router. So
right.
I didn't know anything about technology and internet. I started watching my playbacks, and my computer was an i5 processor,
Right.
and so
So it's
it would
slower.
cycle, 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 cycle,
Yep.
cycle, and I'd be like, "Something's wrong with the VIPKID app. I can't get in." No, no, it was my device and my internet because I thought teach on Wi-Fi, no big deal, but I was far from my router. So I learned so
Right.
much.
Yeah.
I want to help new people get started because that first 2 months or so is such a learning curve and
Yes.
really can affect your future and your bookings.
Absolutely. It does affect your booking. And so I think like, I echo what you said about lighting. I think lighting was like the number one thing that was mentioned in my, I started last year. So I'm on my third contract last year in my like that interview, mock interview. My mentor teacher was really nice because like just make sure you get better lighting than what you have right now. And that was like probably the best advice because with the good lighting, well, you could see. I mean, the kids could see me clearly, right? You can see me clearly. You can see my background and everything, and then everything else flows. And like going to the next question, what is your VIP kid classroom like now? And can you show us some demonstration of what you do in your classroom?
Yeah, sure, sure. Let me grab my I'll grab my little prop container here. So my classroom now is a virtual classroom. I use digital backgrounds like you see in this video today. I use actually a mix. So it's actually nice to have the option to do a virtual background with green screen, but I also have set up, I'll take off my little green screen so you can
Okay.
see. I also swap back and forth. So I am a very
Ah,
I like new things and variety. I get bored really easy. So
yes.
it's so nice to be able to swap and not have. So I have a little magic secret. This
Okay.
virtual background, I can actually take the green screen off and the other background is underneath.
You have a Christmas background
I
in
do.
your class.
So
Awesome.
I just like the flexibility of having this setup. This is a rolling luggage cart. So I
Ah.
am still in the center of my office, but I
Yes, okay.
discovered this rolling luggage cart. And so I can pull this over and mix my background. I can do green screen if I feel like it. I can do a regular background if I want to. It is just so nice to be flexible. And
Right.
after years of experience, I know what I like and I like to be variable. So one day
Right.
I'll have a gingerbread background and one I'll have a snowman background.
Right.
So I really change things up with my students. It keeps them interested. I've taught some kids for like 165 classes. So they are used to seeing me.
Right.
So it's nice that they can see something a little bit different,
Right.
to be variable. I make a little theme for that block of classes. So
Mhm.
for the holidays, I would teach a gingerbread day. So gingerbread day would be a gingerbread background, uh,
Okay.
probably the scarf because, hey, hey.
Yeah.
Throughout my lessons, I would use a Google Slide reward. That would be a gingerbread house that we built a gingerbread house together. And so I
Awesome.
really feel like the digital and the props all merge in together
Right.
in my online classroom much better now that I'm a pro. Like, I mean,
Right.
4,000 classes later, I've practiced. I also am you can tell from my hands moving.
Yes.
I'm a very highly used prop, like my hands being
Right.
a teaching tool.
Right.
So
Right.
I
Right.
do instructional TPR
Right.
with my hands, total physical response. So that total physical response TPR technical is kids doing it with you. So I
Yes.
do have students use their hands, even small, bigger kids. Show me a
Yeah.
shorter,
Yeah.
shortest, longer, longest. I
Yes.
whatever is appropriate for the hand motion, I have them do it with me in TPR, but I also
Right.
use instructional TPR too. So if I am teaching a story and we're walking, here's my hands, I'm walking. So I think that over time my classroom has changed.
Right.
I really consolidated. Here's my popsicle stick prop in
Oh
one
my
place.
gosh, look at
This is
that.
a popsicle stick container,
Okay.
and basically it has nothing in it. And these little slots keep all the parts organized.
Very
So
nice.
I can pull out Meg and Mike and do what I want to do with them.
Yes.
Over time in my online classroom, they've changed. These are matte
Right.
laminated, so
Right.
there's no glare. So like as I've grown, I've really perfected what the tools need to be and to look like. Dino is this size, and Dino is a puppet in my online classroom now
Okay.
because I use them to teach differences. So
Yes.
I really like every single prop has a purpose
Right.
because I discovered that my giant room full of everything wasn't really necessary. I need what's essential and what works. And so I've really refined that practice to find out what's essential and what works.
That's awesome. That's good advice there. So, you've mentioned that you went from well, you do actually flip sometimes from a virtual classroom to a classroom with just like a regular classroom background, right? You do flip just for variety's sake, and because you get bored with just one thing. And
Yes.
so, what made you, and when did you do this? Right, when you made the switch from not a virtual classroom, right? Not a virtual, not a virtual background. I mean, and rewards and whatnot, to sometimes using, or maybe most of the time using, a virtual background with virtual rewards. And you mentioned Google Slides, so I'm assuming that you're actually showing it on your virtual classroom background for Google Slides, or maybe on the side or something. What made you go from just doing everything with no virtual background to doing virtual background? What made you do that?
When I first started with VIP Kid, I heard of Google Slides and
Right.
using ManyCam. So I actually went and bought it, and I had it on my computer like a few months after I started
Right.
because I thought I need this tool. I'm a techie person. Like I could figure out technology, but I couldn't use it on the current device I was using. The first device I had was an i5 processor, and it was struggling even just to do VIP Kid. It was an
Right.
older generation, and so it was very risky to try and add
Right.
anything to it. So I tried one day and I logged in and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do with this. And
Oh dear.
I don't want to crash my computer. So I'm just
Right.
not going to use it for a while. So I actually didn't do anything with it for my first year of teaching, even though I
Right.
already had paid for the lifetime version of
Right.
ManyCam. And so about a year and a half ago, I got bored. Like I changed out wrapping paper backgrounds.
Right.
That was my first, and which are beautiful, and I love making them, but I just got tired of doing it. And so I was like, I'm going to change my setup. Instead of a corner background, I'm going to sit for a while. I'm going to try back at my desk. I'm
Right.
going to I got an upgrade of a computer. So I now use an i7 processor gaming computer. Oh my
Okay.
goodness, it's
It's a
wonderful.
big
And
difference.
I got bored. So like I love using props, and I thought my hands are busy. I
Right.
can't do ManyCam at the same time. So like, I mean,
Right.
in my online classroom, Meg and Mike, they do everything. So
Okay.
he walks to school. So here he goes.
Right.
Walk, walk, walk to
Right.
school. I mean,
Right.
look at my hands are on the
Right.
screen and I've got a
Right.
prop. I don't have a hand for a mouse to run like something digital. But what I discovered is that I can do a mix of both things,
Right.
use the digital tools to supplement. There is nothing better than an image GIF like on a Google slide
Right.
of a snake slithering. Like I could
Oh,
do it.
yeah.
I could do it with my hands. Like here
Right.
I go, slither,
Yeah.
slither, slither. I could
Right.
TPR it all day long. But
Right.
to get the little
Visual.
GIF video,
Yeah. Yeah.
I fell in love with those. I tried that a
Yes.
few times and I was like, oh my goodness, I can have walk and be walk on the sidewalk, walk on the street with a Google Slides and
Right.
present to show my students to really demonstrate at the click of a button. Oh my goodness, because hey, I only need to have this many popsicle stick props.
That's
I
right.
don't need to have a full classroom full with like a sidewalk and a road and a walking. And
Right.
I used to make a whole bunch of resources. So I've even evolved in my Etsy shop and selling.
Mm-hmm.
So my Etsy shop, I would make a whole kit for like each lesson and
Right.
unit, and then VIP could change the curriculum, and I was like,
Right.
oh
They
no,
did. They did.
level 2 went poof, and I was like, what in the heck? I just started making all these for my Etsy shop. And so I learned that like when things change,
Right.
pivot and
Right.
find what's works. So what works
Absolutely.
for me is essential props,
Right.
and what is most important. I didn't throw out the props, but what I did was add in the fun of digital tools to really exemplify even better than what I could possibly do with a printed prop or
Right.
tool.
Yeah, awesome. So what are some of the positives or the benefits that you've seen, right? I mean, obviously we can say like, oh well, from our point of view, like it's definitely the kids can see this, but have you heard anything from like the kids' parents or the kids themselves, what are the positives they've seen in your classroom since you made that, switch?
So I on every regular day is just a pretty regular class.
Okay.
So I will give a star reward and
Right.
I will give my student praise. I have taught some kids so many classes that they're used to my praise and my give a star on the stick, you get a star, hooray. Like they're bored, and my little star on the stick just doesn't do it for them anymore.
Right, right, right,
And
right,
so I do a reward the stars in the classroom,
right.
but I do a theme like for the holidays or
Okay.
for something special intermittently. So like right before Christmas, the week of Christmas that I taught, and
Right.
then the week before I had different themes for each block of classes that I taught. So I had gingerbread day. I told you about gingerbread house and
Ah,
building. And
right.
so the kids' faces are like, wow, because they're used to just regular old classes with me.
Right,
So
right,
I use the digital tools and effects to build in their attention and looking at me.
right,
If there's something quickly that they need to learn about or see, I can find an image of a hamburger, like instead of having a hamburger prop.
right,
So like I just feel like it makes my teaching fresh and new
right,
for my regulars I've taught for a long time.
right.
So it was definitely a learning curve for me to begin and
Of
add in
course.
digital tools,
Yeah.
how I would connect them all together. But having the opportunity to wow kids, that's why I think wow
Yes.
is so important. Like I have magic, teacher has magic. And so some parents some parents have sent me messages in WeChat
Right,
that was such a fun class.
right,
The
right,
gingerbread class was a very popular class. So it's
right,
kind of like I'm offering the VIP Kid Master Course that I'm teaching, but in a themed, fun way. And so
right.
I can easily pull in a background, pull in a
Yes,
few gingerbread props, and then show Google Slides, and off I run. So
right,
I really feel like it's faster than printing out those resources, holding them up. I do a mix of all of them. So one day we do find a star, one day it's just a star on a stick. The next time is gingerbread house. And that's why kids keep coming back to my classes because it's never boring. Like
right,
it's not the
right,
same old all the
right.
time.
So there's
So there's a
engagement
sparkle.
there.
Yes.
Engagement and the they're looking forward to like, okay, what is teacher Amanda going to be up to today,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Like what will my theme be for the next class and
Right,
sessions? So
right,
yeah,
right.
and I make it simple. I don't change it up like every single class in like 4 classes in the morning.
Okay.
All of them are that theme, whatever level we're doing.
Okay.
So that it's easy to be done. Like I set up the
Yes.
gingerbread background and then I get the Google Slide gingerbread and then I go. And then
Awesome.
I've taught almost all the master courses. I've taught so many. Like
Right.
I've taught all level 2 from order, all level 3 start from beginning with
Right.
regulars. So
Right.
like every class I've taught before, I know the structure.
Right.
So I just roll with, and I still do my teaching style, which is
Right.
heavy on the TPR,
Yeah.
lots of additional props to supplement, but the virtual just adds in another element of fun. It brings the extra exemplification that I cannot describe and show a
Right.
snake slithering as good as that GIF
That
video
give
of
video.
the
Yeah.
slither.
Yes, awesome. So you obviously use a webcam software, Manicam, right? What kind of software and hardware do we need as teachers in order to use Manicam in the VIP Kid classroom?
So great question. So Manicam is webcam software. You install it with your on your computer. It works in coordination with your webcam to control your cam's feed, and it changes elements of your webcam. So like I changed my element in this video for my virtual background. I can add other images like effects over the top and display them and show them. So it's controlling the video feed that students can see. I can also create a feed with many other views too. So what you need essentially on your computer is a powerhouse, because remember that you are video conferencing with
Right.
kids all the way across through the internet and sending video message upload and download. So in essence, you're going to need all the essentials of VIP Kid to be effective. You'll need a wired connection. You'll need a webcam that's actually an external webcam or a good quality webcam. You're going to want a computer processor that has a fast processing speed. Right now, that's about an i7 is what everyone's purchasing and buying,
Right.
though i5s that are higher generations, those will work too. If your computer is a little old dinosaur and struggling with your online classroom or with Zoom, then I would not add Manicam as
Yeah.
something you're going to add, because remember, you're adding one feed of the conference with your student, you're
Right.
adding another layer for Manicam to show the effects. And to have two of them running simultaneously takes a computer that is very powerful. So PCI 7 processor, 16 megabits of RAM is enough for the future. 8 megabits of RAM is good for now. And then you're going to want an updated graphics card if you can afford that. That will help with your virtual background. If you're not planning to do the virtual background, you wouldn't need an upgraded graphics card. It's just nice because it processes graphics a bit faster. And then Mac people, Mac, you want to get the M1 chip. The M1 is the new processor from Mac. It is not Intel's processor, and
Oh,
those are being built to be faster and better able to handle the demands of computers of today. So all the new MacBooks that are coming out, they're all coming with that Mac M1 chip, and it performs a lot better in the speed and processing
hmm.
for computers. So just in basics, if your computer is struggling right now, don't do it. Like
Right.
you really need to consider the tech tools. That's why if you look on Facebook groups and people are writing, "Oh, my computer froze and my computer crashed and Manicam crashed my computer,"
Yeah.
it's because your computer just can't handle it. If you're running anything less than 8 megabytes of RAM, RAM works on your computer and processes all the different things that you're having your computer do. So let's say you have four. If you've got 4 megabytes of RAM, one window of Gmail is about 1.8 megabytes. So one down, actually two down. Then you're saying, okay, open VIP Kit and run video conferencing with
That's
only 2 megabytes of RAM. Okay,
no.
there you go. Done. Then you want to open Manicam, you got nothing left. So what
Right.
happens is your computer then runs onto the hard drive and heats up and speeds up and gets really hot, 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 and very unhappy. And then everything crashes. And that's what happens. So it's all about having a tech tool that is effective,
Right.
that can be used before you add the digital prompts and tools. So I didn't get anything digital on my computer or run. I sneakily put it on my i5, but I really should not have.
Ah,
And I waited until I had a really beefy computer, and I've had good success. I have fails. Some days my green screen does not want to cooperate. So hey, I got the
yay.
backup
Yeah.
underneath.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sometimes Google Slides, like there was a morning when Google Slides was down.
Yes, yes,
Well,
just
good,
recently.
good. I've got my Santa Claus reward on a
Right,
baking sheet ready to go. So like I
right.
I have a mix of both. I do both, and always having a backup and a plan.
Yes, 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 definitely have a backup. So you were mentioning like all the different requirements for hardware, software. Software, obviously, they need to get Manicam, right? If they want to do this. Do you have somewhere that they can go to download or to figure out what tech they need to run Manicam?
Yes. So on my website, amandapandateacher.com, if you look across the top of the bars, the button you should push says Manicam Kindergarten. And basically, that webpage tells you in 3 steps what you need: device and what plan to get, and then how to learn more and get started. So if you look down, you can get a guide from me. It's a printable page, and it will show you all the requirements from VIPKid, Mac, and PC.
Okay,
So in order to get started, and I even looked at some devices from Amazon and I said,
right.
yes, get that one, and no, don't get that one.
Oh,
So
great.
in that guide is a printed help to help you as you're picking a computer, because a lot of teachers don't know about
Right,
like the requirements and aren't techie enough. I'm not super techie. I just know enough to like
right,
pick something good and pick
right,
something bad.
right, right,
So you want to pick something good and not go for the bad, because your device is your portal to your students. It's your number one most important tool. So you've got to have that device functioning and working before you add anything extra. And I really don't say just go get Manicam
right, right.
today, start it out. Anybody, that's not true. It
Yeah.
really has to be a prepared device that's ready to handle it.
Right. So last year, so just like a side note, so last year, I learned about Manicam at Journey DC. It was actually presented by couple of our techie people, right? I think Chris Nelson was one of them, and then Teacher Sam was one of them, and Teacher Karen. And so I'm like, oh, I need to get Manicam. I also got myself a new computer. Now, had I known, I would have probably got a different computer. I do have a MacBook Pro that has an i9 Intel processor. It does run, it does work, but I heard that Manicam runs better with a PC gaming computer. So because it's able to handle a lot of the graphic stuff and whatnot, right? I mean, I can still run Manicam on my MacBook Pro. I just can't run it on the it just doesn't work as well on the old VIP Kid classroom. It runs better on the new VIP Kid classroom, the one that we usually have access to. Um, I try to run it with my REP classes when I teach one to many, right, to the classrooms, and it always freezes up or something. I'm like, man, I really, really want this to work. Maybe those classrooms need to go to the new classroom. Then I'll be able to show them to my kids. But yeah, so just as a side note, like, and I'm glad that you mentioned the M1 chip because I've never heard of it. So Mac users, you might want to check that out, right? Because like as far as I know, like I'm still on Intel. There's no M1 chip, so I'm gonna do some research on that. So, but Amanda, just like you, right? I too bought Manicam a whole year ago. I mean, like last year. So right after Journey, so that was November. I didn't start using it until this summer. I was so afraid. I've been wanting, like, can I have, I asked Teacher Sam actually, like, can you show me certain stuff? Like I'll pay you, so that I get like a one-on-one tutorial. I mean, I know she's really busy with a lot of other things with kids as well. And so I would go on to different YouTube videos to try to learn. I was still not very confident. So if you have a teacher who wants to start out, but maybe don't want to do like the full blown thing, right? What kind of advice do you have for them to kind of just start out, maybe just an initial, induction into Manicam? What should they do? What could they do?
I think your first day, you want to pick one thing and do it. Don't start with virtual backgrounds. That's one of the hardest, because that one requires some setup and some tech knowledge about like where you put the green screen, about your
Right.
lights. It's a really perfected. It's difficult to get it balanced and looking good. So I would say your very first day with Manicam, start with an effect that you choose. I started with the spinning star that goes around on my very first day. I display that to my student, and that's all I did for a lot of classes. Jumping into doing Google Slides very first would not be something I would do
Yeah.
first. That would be like in a mid, lots of practice, ready to do it. First install, put it onto your computer, try it in a Zoom session. So I'm
Right.
using Manicam right now in Zoom. You can actually, if you're a brick and mortar teacher, you can use it in Zoom with
Yes.
your other students. So whatever place you're going to do to a virtual meeting, go practice. Go stick a bunch of different effects, which Manicam is the little wand. It's like a little Harry Potter wand. That's the
Right.
effects button. Click that one, click something, and just try it out. So your very first day, just try something, and then build from there as you go. Start with slow with just one thing.
So
Um,
so VIP Kid teachers can practice it in the practice room now.
You can. That's new.
Yes.
That's wonderful. I didn't
Yes.
have the
Yes.
practice room when I
Yes.
first started. So yes, you can start practicing in the practice room. So you could go in there, just try a few things. Make sure when you go that you select your Manicam camera.
Right.
So this is to starting off any new technology. You want to have your computer turned off and everything plugged in. So like these headphones are wireless headphones that run on a USB toggle.
Mm-hmm.
That toggle is in and it's ready when I start up my computer in the morning. My webcam is a USB toggle. It's plugged in. And Manicam is set up and already installed. So just install everything and then turn off your computer and start fresh.
Ah.
Start and go into the VIP Kid classroom. Make sure that your headphones are selected, and then also select your webcam that says Manicam.
Right.
And so that's the key. A lot of people don't realize is that like when you are using a computer device, you've got to tell the computer what to do.
Right.
So often I switch from these headphones to an external speaker, then back to the headphones, then to the external speaker, and then I expect my computer to know when I go into VIP Kid into the practice room or the regular classroom, use these. Well, the computer doesn't know
Right.
because I'm doing so many different things with it. Same thing with adding Manicam. You're going to have a regular webcam feed and you'll have a Manicam feed. So like you're going to have to select and change those. And that doesn't mean that you're having tech problems.
Right.
It just means you've got to tell the computer choose one.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So, just generally, what kind of advice do you have for teachers who have been considering Manicam, but they're just too afraid to try?
So my suggestion is first check your specs on your computer. So in order to do that in Mac, you will go to settings. So and then in settings there is a little button you push and it will tell you your specs.
Yes.
On Windows 10, we have a magical little typing box which I use for everything now. It's in the left bottom corner of Windows 10. If you type in their specs, then it will come up the page above the settings in your computer of Windows 10 and tell you your specs. If
Right.
your specs are good, that you've got like at least an i5 processor that's a higher generation, that means a newer computer, or an
Yeah.
i7 processor, your RAM is at least 8 megabytes, no less than that, then you should be ready to at least begin and start and try. So my suggestion is really just try it out, get started, see how it works for you.
Right.
There are lots of helpful videos to get you started on YouTube too. So you could get some YouTube help or resources. Check out my page that says Manicam Kindergarten. I have some videos on how to use Manicam in the classroom. I have a Facebook group too, and there are other Facebook groups.
Yes. And I will link
My
those in the description.
Awesome. Yes, my
Yes.
Facebook group
Awesome.
is Manicam Kindergarten. So just search Manicam Kindergarten. I have a helpful drive full of free resources to get you started, some free Google Slides, some free backgrounds. So there's plenty of places to kind of learn from if you're just trying to go it on your own, but
Yeah.
you're going to have to pick around because there's not just one stop
Right,
shop
right,
to
right,
find things.
right. So Mac users, just as a note, you can also click on the left side where it shows that Apple on the left. If you click on that, you get your whole like about your computer. It'll tell you your processor speed, your memory, and what version of Mac OS Catalina you're on and all that. So there are two different ways to get it, from settings or just click on that apple. I always click on that apple because it's right there. Icons are awesome.
Perfect.
So-
That's wonderful. I'm not a Mac girl.
yeah.
So when I give advice on Mac, I'm like, oh, I think that's where you click.
Well, yeah, you can click on settings too. You can click on settings as well. All right. So you have a special webinar coming up this coming week, right?
Yes, I
Amanda,
do.
can you share more about that?
Yeah. So Tuesday, December 29th, it will be at 6 o'clock teaching time, with AM Pacific Coast time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. So as soon as your classes are done, then at 6 o'clock it begins on Tuesday, December 29th. I'm teaching a webinar and it is called Wow. Oops, how to wow.
Wow.
Wow your students with props, engagement, and digital tools. So this is not a Manicam training course, like to tell you all about how to use Manicam. It is so much more. It is my plan and how I learn to engage students, how to use props. I'll teach all three of those sections, and then a part of it will be using Manicam for digital tools in your classroom. So if you're not a Manicam teacher, you just want to come learn some tips on how to use props in the classroom. I'm going to have and what I wanted to tell you is my biggest pet peeve in trainings that I go to is all of this pie in the sky. This is great. This sounds good, and no actual application.
Right.
This webinar that I'm teaching will be all with application. So I've taken real slides from not well, don't I didn't copy VIP KID
Got it.
slides,
Yeah.
but slides that look very
Like.
similar from VIP KID, and I'll show you the slide and how
Right.
I teach it, how to add props, engagement, and digital tools into each of those. So it's a very practical session to really learn. If you're a new teacher, this is great for you. If you're a teacher looking for some fresh ideas, I've got so many fun, fresh ideas. So we'll discover and talk about how to mesh all of that together. So it's an introduction to the way that I am teaching currently, mixing all the 2D, 3D, and digital all together. So yes, I want to invite you to come.
Yes.
This free, and there is no obligation. A lady sent me a message. She was so kind. She's like, well, I just want to know, do I have to sign up or pay for anything to attend? And I said, no, it's free. Free is free. So if you want to come and just watch and then leave and never learn more, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You come and learn. If you're a brand new teacher, you
Right.
need some tips from a veteran, come see me.
Yeah.
I've got great ideas for props and engagement to improve our classes, and I want to help. And so please sign up. Here's the web address, and I know Loretta is going to put it in the
Yes, I
description
will.
box
Yes, I'll
too.
put it in the description box. It'll be like a free PD session, for us
Yes.
online teachers, right? I mean, you don't have to be a VIP kid teacher. You can be any online teacher, right? And you'll be able to learn to use all the different things in the classroom. Amanda's going to walk through the things that she does, right? And so that in itself is gold. So
Yes.
if it's not just focused on Manicam, and so it will be available for what, because you talk about props as well. So I'm sure you're going to show us how you use your props in certain lessons, right?
Yes.
Amanda, I forgot to ask you to show us some of the things that you would do in your Manicam classroom.
What we're going to learn?
Yeah, no. Like, how do you use Manicam in your classroom?
Oh,
Some of the
yeah.
things. Yeah, I wanted to see some of those.
Oh, awesome. So, let me, I'm going to change my little screen here. So, I use virtual backgrounds we've been talking about. So,
Yes.
if it was gingerbread day, or Christmas, I could use an effect. So I can pull in and grab something that I want to show my students. I have a dinosaur lover. So,
Oh.
she just loves dinosaurs. So, one day, it was all dinosaur themed. So I had different dinosaurs on
Okay.
my screen. And then every time she got a star, the dinosaurs would get stars. Where did my, I usually have multiple star wands, and now I can't find my
You
star
would you just
wand.
had it like right in front of you
I know,
earlier.
girl, where did it go? Dang it. This is a lesson to you. Oh, here it is. This is why you have duplicates. So I've got multiple star ones because
Oh,
I'm
this is a
always
shiny
losing the
star.
other one. Yeah, here's a shiny. So I would feed the dinosaur, and the dinosaur would eat a star one, and he'd go after, yum, delicious, and I give a star. So this was just a simple dinosaur day. I pulled up 2 effects
Yeah.
with dinosaurs for a dinosaur lover. I didn't have to go print and laminate to make a dinosaur reward. I gave the dinosaurs the stars and fed them in class,
Very nice.
and then held close to the camera, bing, and I hit the star. So if something as simple as just using an effect for a kid that really loves what the effect
Right.
is what I do with the digital props and tools. I don't have my windows set up to display and show you
Right.
Google Slides,
Okay.
but I also would add a Google Slide background
Right.
behind me, a
Right.
little picture in a picture
Right.
to show and teach my student. So yes, I will show this in the digital tools. Actually,
Yes.
I'm gonna teach using that. So like
Oh, great.
the webinar you come to,
Yeah.
I will be using Manicam as my tool to
Awesome.
display. So if you're a brick and mortar teacher, a teacher that's teaching online art classes to kids, an
Right.
Outschool teacher, Manicam is a tool that any online teacher can use. So it's not just a tool for VIPKID teachers. Business people use it in their businesses
Right.
to give webinar presentations,
Right.
to hold up points like PowerPoint points, and present and speak at the same time. So you're going to see in modeled and demonstrated many ways that you can use it. And the idea is come to the webinar,
Right.
watch how I demonstrate and show, and then take it back to your online classroom. So lots of
Right.
practical uses will be things that you can
Right.
celebrate.
Awesome. So I have a comment here from a fellow listener or viewer. Stephanie Jimenez says, I love all of Amanda's videos and Etsy store. She's really amazing. What are Amanda's plans for 2021?
Oh, goodness, girl. I think I have to take a breath to think that one. Let me put up my little Christmas tree here. So, oh, there we go. And so again, this way you can make a background just with effects. So like you don't
Right.
even have to have green screen. This is just a green fabric. And then
Right.
I added the effect on there. I just wanted to show
Right.
you that
Right.
before we jump
Right.
away. Yeah. So I am busy girl. I am working in my Etsy shop. I'm crafting for the props and rewards marketplace. I've been a little bit swamped.
Yes, we see your name and the VIPKID community market thing.
It
Right.
is.
Right. Yes.
And I want to tell you, if you have not gone in the marketplace, you don't have to pay money and order anything. There is a free lucky draw.
Oh.
And my shop is giving away a $20 gift card to my Etsy shop and a course that I'm teaching in 2021. So that's what I'm going to be busy doing.
Ah.
In 2021, I am teaching a digital course for teachers and any profession
Right.
that are teaching online. So art teachers, brick and mortar teachers, speech teachers, anyone doing online teaching that wants to wow students,
Right.
I'll be teaching a digital course that will be teaching Manicam tools. So from the very start with no knowledge, how to install all the way to green screening. So in one place. So that's my big plan for 2021. Personally, like my family goal and plan is to play with my kids a little bit more. I have small kids that have been very patient as mommy's been working a lot and have been doing virtual learning with my husband while mom's up in the office typing
Yeah.
away all these things I've been working on. So I'm going to be more explicit to balance a better family time.
Right.
I've
Right.
been through a season in this year where I've worked a whole bunch and built what I'm going to tell you all about in
Right.
Manicam
Right.
kindergarten. So that season is over, and I need to recognize that I still have family and small
Yes.
kids that need me. So we got some games for the holidays.
Awesome.
I'm intending to play with them and do more activities with them and not be locked up so much in my office.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you, Stephanie, for asking that question. Well, I am definitely going to be at your webinar on Tuesday. I signed up a couple of days ago. I'm going to put the link again in the description box. So, and if anyone is wanting to sign up for the webinar as well, I'll probably see you there. And Amanda will see all of us bright and early at her time. I think it's 6 a.m. Pacific Standard
It
Time,
is.
right? AmandaPandaTeacher.com/wow, right? It's
It's easy
awesome.
to sign
Wow.
up. And
Yes,
if
very
you can't
easy.
make it on Tuesday, there are other dates too. There's four of them.
Oh, yes.
Four
And
of
you can
them.
choose when you go to that page, you'll be able to choose what days you want, what times you want. By the way, Stephanie said, very good to your response.
Good, great. Yeah, so you can choose what day and time, and again, absolutely no obligation. I
Yes,
know teachers are on a budget. I know that you are not looking to spend a bunch of money. That is totally fine. You don't have to come and pay anything. It is free, no
yes.
obligation. So I it's a service to the teaching community to help and support, and I can't wait to teach you. I got great stuff.
Oh, it's
So
awesome.
I teach on my YouTube channel very often and
Yes,
share resources, but to do it all in a webinar in this format is exciting.
that's
So
great.
I'll have lots of goodies and fun things. Oh, I'm going to raffle at the on the webinars if you show up live too. And
Ah,
and I've got a show up live freebie that you're going to want. And hint, hint, it's something about a
hmm.
list of something that you might want a lot of and what's
Ah,
essential. And nobody's ever really made a really good list of these, and I've got one.
awesome. Well, we're excited. I know I'm excited. I'm sure there are other new and veteran teachers alike that they'll be excited to join this webinar. And don't forget to go to the description box, click on that link. And if you have not already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to Amanda's channel too. I'll link that in this video as well. And like this video, ask any questions. If you ask any questions and I can't answer, I will direct you to Amanda and have her answer those questions. Okay.
Of
So
course.
thank you so much, Amanda Panda Teacher. I love saying that. For being here this morning. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule. And I'm sure you'll be spending time with your sons today.
Yes,
It's after all, it's a day after Christmas. That's when we play with all our presents, right? Our games and toys
definitely.
and all that. All right. Well, thank you so much. Let me do this first.
And I was going to say, Loretta,
Yes.
don't forget to use Loretta's code. She has a discount code if you decide to join Manichem Kindergarten.
Oh, yes, yes,
Um,
yes,
you
yes.
get $10 off Manichem Kindergarten. If you decide to sign up, use code Loretta,
Right.
and you can have the coupon. So that's the only way that you can get a discount on the course if you're
Right.
interested.
If you attend the webinar, Amanda will tell you more about the Manichem Kindergarten. And if you decide to sign up for Manichem Kindergarten, come back to my channel and get the code. Just use Loretta, actually, just my name, Loretta, and then you'll get your discounted course. But yes, I am excited about that on Tuesday. And
Awesome.
let's see, I have to turn off end stream first before I do this.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. It was great
Yes.
to chat with you this morning.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I really, really appreciate it. All right. I turn that
Bye. See you
off.
soon.
See you soon.